All right. Now, if this had happened to the former president, there would be some form of impeachment going on. There'd be an impeachment hearing, but the reality of it is this vice president was only picked for one reason, and everybody knows what that reason is. I'm not going to get into all that craziness, but I'm going to simply say this. She is as incompetent, if not more incompetent, than the current president of the United States is. And she is an embarrassment to our country. And of course, she is most definitely an embarrassment to the White House. And everybody knows it. The cackler has struck again with all kinds of craziness. But one of my favorite ones is a statement that she actually made that I think was quite hilarious as she went on her what I would call embarrassment tour all over Europe. Now, I will just simply say this. The original plan may have been for her to go all over Europe, but they changed that pretty quickly when she started laughing at the idea that there was war going on in Ukraine. Not that she was disputing that, but she was just simply laughing because she was lighthearted, even though there are people dying overseas. We'll just leave that part alone. But it is very interesting to me how the media is allowing the United States vice president to get away with making all kinds of insane remarks, no accountability, and when they try to rewrite history, they're not really saying much about it. Case in point, I can give you one example. There's lots of examples of this, but this is a pretty funny one. She makes this statement on Saturday. She spoke to, I believe it was the DNCCC. I'm not sure. Maybe it was just the DNC. Maybe she spoke to the Democratic National Committee. I don't remember what speech it was. I did see it. It was kind of funny. And she made this statement, and I'm going to give you the quote, right? The quote is, "The United States stands firmly with the Ukrainian people in defense of the NATO alliance." Okay, let me say that one more time. Maybe you can compute it. She says, "The United States stands firmly with the Ukrainian people in defense of the NATO alliance." Okay, there's a lot of problems with that statement because, first of all, NATO does not have a member in it by the name of Ukraine. As a matter of fact, there have been multiple times where there have been very concerted efforts for Ukraine to join NATO, and NATO has rejected them on grounds of the corruption that continues on from within Ukraine. But we'll leave that a be. We just won't say anything about, did I say we'll leave that a be? We'll leave that be. But the thing that I think is more funny than the incompetent statement that she made, because she makes lots of incompetent statements, quite frankly, she's very uneducated, is the fact that the White House actually covered that speech up by changing the actual text. I'm not kidding. The way they worded it was, "The United States stands firmly with the Ukrainian people in defense of the NATO alliance." In other words, and in defense of the NATO alliance. Folks, I want you to understand something. They play by a different set of rules. They tell you how you should live because they're totalitarian in nature. They make sure that your freedoms are removed so that they can do whatever they want to do. And they expect you to continue to put up with their garbage by voting for them day in and day out. Folks, we've got a midterm coming, and I'm telling you this right now. Elections have consequences. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3 says that the Antichrist will not come to this earth or will not be revealed to the world. That's the better way of putting it. Not will come to this earth. He's probably living right now. Will not be revealed to the world until Christians are actually raptured. The reason why they state that is, the reason why the Bible states that is because it says we are the restraining force. The Holy Spirit living inside of us is the restraining force that keeps these things from coming into fruition. That means it's time for us to stand up for righteousness, because if we're the restraining force, it's time for us to act like it. Folks, elections have consequences. It's time to start thinking this stuff through, because evil is prevailing, and we as Christians must be those who keep that back, because that's what God has called us to do. Listen, I know there's going to come a point in time where the Lord is coming back for his church, and it's all going to break loose on the earth, but we have a job until that point. So until then, folks, time to carry on. Let's move forward. God bless you.